Buckle up because the countdown to the World Cup is officially moving at breakneck speed. A massive coalition of over 120 civil rights groups, including the ACLU and the NAACP, has just dropped a serious travel advisory for anyone heading to the United States for the tournament. They are sounding the alarm for immigrant communities and LGBTQ+ individuals, warning that government policies could leave them vulnerable to real danger this summer.
Your brand new iPhone deserves the best protection, and the iLUN 3-Pack Screen Protector plus 3-Pack Camera Lens Protector has you covered. Don't take risks with your iPhone. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
The tension is rising off the field too, as African immigrant-owned businesses in Boston are speaking out about being completely left in the dark. Despite trying to secure vendor spots for the Fan Fest and applying for crucial grants, leaders like Myril Tushmanina and her coalition of over 100 businesses say they are being ignored by the Boston Host Committee. They are demanding transparency and a seat at the table instead of being treated like they do not exist. Meanwhile, head coach Emma Hayes is not taking any breaks with the USWNT as she prepares her squad for a high-stakes trip to Brazil. The team is heading south for 2 intense friendlies in June against the 2027 World Cup hosts, hitting stadiums in Sao Paulo and Fortaleza that will be front and center on the global stage. Hayes wants her players to face the toughest crowds and the most difficult environments possible to sharpen their skills for the future. Drama is peaking in the diplomatic arena as a Trump envoy, Paolo Zampalli, has officially asked FIFA to kick Iran out of the World Cup and replace them with Italy. While the Italian squad failed to qualify on the pitch, this high-level political maneuvering is already sparking massive pushback from the Iranian embassy. Make sure to stay locked in for all these updates by hitting that subscribe button and turning on the notifications bell. Picture this. You are booking your flight to the United States for the 2026 World Cup, anticipating the beautiful game and a celebration of global culture. But instead of a travel brochure, you are met with a formal warning from over 120 civil rights organizations, including heavy hitters like the ACLU and Amnesty International. They are telling fans, players, and journalists to exercise extreme caution, and frankly, it is a wake-up call that feels completely unprecedented. Why? Because these groups claim that for immigrant communities, racial minorities, and LGBTQ+ individuals, the U.S. is currently a minefield of potential harm. We are talking about active concerns over ICE presence at airports, rising authoritarian rhetoric, and the chilling reality of nearly 50 deaths in immigration custody since the start of 2025. It is fascinating and deeply uncomfortable to see groups within the host nation sounding the alarm on their own soil. While past tournaments in Russia and Qatar drew criticism from the outside, this is an internal outcry. FIFA, for its part, is pointing to their glossy human rights strategy papers, while the White House is dismissing these concerns as ridiculous scare tactics from activists. It leaves us in a bizarre tug-of-war between polished PR statements and the grim reality of grassroots fears. Are the authorities going to prioritize the safety of fans, or will the spectacle of the game be overshadowed by the specter of enforcement? We are less than 2 months out, and the silence from organizers on concrete protections is deafening. If you are planning to travel, maybe it is time to have a serious contingency plan before you pack your jersey. What do you think? Is this just political noise, or is the U.S. truly not ready to host a global event that welcomes everyone? Drop a comment below with your take, and don't forget to subscribe for the full story as we track this countdown to kickoff. Imagine the biggest sporting event on the planet is coming to your front door, promising a massive economic boom. But when you reach out to join the party, you're met with total silence. That's the reality for many African immigrant-owned businesses in Boston right now, and frankly, it's a bad look for an event that claims to be about global unity. With the FIFA World Cup 26 just around the corner, excitement is building for the matches at Gillette Stadium. But behind the scenes, a coalition of over 100 African-owned businesses is feeling completely shut out. These aren't just small shops, they are pillars of the community. Yet, when they try to register as vendors for the upcoming fan festivals, they're either ghosted by organizers or pushed aside. Myril Tushmanina, founder of the African Festival of Boston, hit the nail on the head when she described the committee's response. When she asked for vendor space, she was told they were looking for entertainers. As she put it, that's bordering on insulting. These business owners aren't looking to perform, they are looking to trade. They are looking to contribute to the economic fabric of this city. Treating an entire diaspora community as nothing more than a source of cultural performance, while denying them a seat at the business table, is a major oversight. The frustration is shared by local leadership. City Councilor Ruth C. Luajun has been vocal about the lack of transparency, noting that despite all the sign-up portals and surveys, nobody seems to know where that information is actually going. Even when businesses do jump through the bureaucratic hoops of applying for grants, they're hitting dead ends. Take Cecilia Lizotte of Suya Joint in Roxbury. She applied for a grant, only to be denied without a clear explanation, later finding out there were eligibility nuances that were never made transparent to applicants. While officials from the Boston Host Committee claim they want to be collaborative and inclusive, the reality on the ground feels different. For entrepreneurs like Asada Dansoko, who makes traditional West African hibiscus drinks, the lack of communication is a missed opportunity to share her culture with thousands of fans. As Seydou Soumani of the Ghana Association put it, if they don't see real progress in the next couple of weeks, we are looking at a full-blown crisis of confidence. Boston is promising a massive economic impact, with hundreds of millions of dollars expected to flow into the state. But if the city's immigrant-owned businesses are left on the sidelines, the inclusive spirit of this World Cup rings hollow. We need to do more than just check a box for diversity. We need to make sure the people who actually call this city home are the ones benefiting from its success. What do you think? Is this just standard bureaucratic lag, or is there a deeper issue with how major events prioritize local businesses? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this story. What does it take to forge a world champion mindset? Well, Emma Hayes thinks it starts with stepping into the belly of the beast. The USWNT is heading south this June for a high-stakes showdown against Brazil, the very hosts of the 2027 World Cup, and this is exactly the kind of test the Americans need. We're talking two friendlies, one in the buzzing heart of Sao Paulo and another in the massive Arena Castelao in Fortaleza. This isn't just a casual trip, it's a strategic gauntlet. Coach Hayes put it best. She wants her squad to feel the weight of an entire stadium rooting against them. She wants that hostile, high-pressure environment because that is where true character is forged. It is a brilliant move to mimic the lead-up to the 2023 World Cup when they ventured to New Zealand. By playing on the soil that will host the world in a year's time, the USWNT is effectively turning these matches into a dress rehearsal for the ultimate prize. But look at the history here. While the US has historically dominated this rivalry with 34 wins, playing on Brazilian turf is a different story entirely. The record there is a dead-even 2-2-2. It is tough, it is gritty, and it is unpredictable. Plus, with the U23s tagging along to face top-tier local clubs, this trip is as much about building the future pipeline as it is about winning the current matches. Whether you are rooting for the Stars and Stripes or the rising Brazilian Giants, this series is going to be pure, unfiltered football drama. So, do you think Hayes can cultivate that, us against the world mentality in time for 2027, or will the home field advantage prove too much for the US? Drop a comment below with your prediction, and if you love staying ahead of the beautiful game, smash that subscribe button. Remember, you don't just watch history happen, you understand how it's made. Imagine the biggest stage in global sports, the FIFA World Cup, suddenly becoming the center of a bizarre, high-stakes geopolitical tug-of-war. That is exactly what is happening right now, as a Trump envoy is making headlines with a suggestion that sounds more like a desperate soccer fan's fantasy than serious diplomacy. Paolo Zampalli, a U.S. special envoy with a flair for the dramatic, has officially asked FIFA to pull Iran from the upcoming World Cup and swap them out for Italy. Yes, you heard that right. Zampalli isn't hiding his intentions either. He has openly admitted to pushing this idea to both Donald Trump and FIFA President Gianni Infantino, citing Italy's legendary four-title pedigree as his justification. But let's be honest, Italy didn't qualify. They missed the cut after a heartbreaking shootout lost to Bosnia and Herzegovina. The whole concept of handing a World Cup spot to a team based on pedigree rather than performance is a massive departure from everything the beautiful game stands for. And frankly, it feels like a total disregard for the hard work of every other team that earned their way onto the pitch. Not surprisingly, Iran isn't sitting quietly. Their embassy in Rome fired back, blasting the suggestion as a display of moral bankruptcy, and pointing out that Italian football has never needed backroom political favors to prove its greatness. It's a messy situation, compounded by the escalating tensions of the ongoing war, which has already caused enough uncertainty regarding where Iran will actually play its matches. While Zampali, who is famously known as the man who introduced Donald Trump to Melania, seems determined to push this through, FIFA has effectively shut the door. President Gianni Infantino has doubled down, confirming that the tournament will proceed according to the original draw. It's a strange chapter in the history of international sports, and it leaves us wondering, when did we decide that the rules of the game were optional? What do you think? Should the World Cup remain a meritocracy, or is there ever a place for political maneuvering on the pitch? Let me know your take in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the weirdest stories in sports. And remember, the game is only as great as the fairness with which it is played.